Hey Fragrance family, I'm Daver.
And I'm Max.
And we're the Fragrance Bros. Coming at you again with another review with special guest host Max Forte from his channel Max Forte. How are you doing, Max?
I'm doing great. Always a pleasure to do these collabs with you. It's always great, always fun.
Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And today we are reviewing L'Homme Ultime or Ultime or something like that. Now, date introduced is 2016. It's classified as a woody floral musk. Notes are grapefruit, ginger, cardamom, rose, sage, geranium, cedar, and vetiver. Now, Max, what did you get out of longevity out of this?
I got a good 6 to 8 hours. You know, normally I like to spray my clothes, so when I do that, you know, it's right around the 8-hour mark, but average consistently about 6 to 7, which is not bad.
Mine was a little bit lower than that, and it was kind of in the poor range. I got about 5 hours tops, okay. Which I don't really love, but at the same time, I can accept that. I know some people can't, but 5 hours is okay, whatever. I just wish I could have like 8 hours or something. What about projection?
Projection, not that great. You know, I'd say a good hour and a half to 2 tops. You know, after the 2-hour mark, it was really close to the skin. To
me, it kind of sits in the average range as far as pushing out in the air. It was okay. Average range for me. Season, I would say this is great for summer and springtime, I think. And I think this works good in the daytime.
Absolutely. I think it would be a phenomenal office scent, like a work scent, you know, signature work scent type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Which brings me to my next point, which I think it worked great for casual and work. Now, Max, what does this remind you of?
To be honest with you, I really get a fusion between the regular L'Homme and a little bit of the La Nuit. I don't know if it's because of the cardamom, the rose, all those components, and I really like that Dominique Ropiana is involved in this project. So to me, it's like a fusion between the two. It's like a lighter version of La Nuit, if you will. Yeah,
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Wow.
But yeah, I totally get that as well. Like, I see the connection to L'Homme, and you can definitely smell that in like the gingery top.
Yes.
But I also smell like that cardamom, cedar, vetiver combination that La Nuit has. Overall,
it's less powdery than La Nuit, but it definitely has both nuances of the L'Homme and the La Nuit. Absolutely.
I really like it because of that. I think it's a good flanker, and this really surprised me because of that. Because you know, we've talked about this off camera, but come on, how many flankers are they going to have in this line?
I know. Flankers of flankers. They might start like an Ultime flanker line now.
That's right. But yeah, they have so many flankers. And, especially L'Homme kind of has like that real bologna-cologne range where it's very average and it's very likable and pleasant. And so I think, if you like La Nuit de L'Homme, but maybe you don't like L'Homme as much, maybe you think that one is a little bit more generic. Maybe you think L'Homme is good, but you don't like where La Nuit goes. This one is kind of a jack of all trades between the two. I also get a lot of grapefruit at the top, and I kind of wish that I didn't. Because the grapefruit that they use in that is kind of on the generic side, and it reminds me a lot of some of the newer flankers that are coming out these days that are just putting grapefruit in there. And it kind of adds like this watery citrus quality to it. And I kind of don't think that it needs that. And after a while it disappears, and I think it becomes better because it disappears. And I kind of wish they left it out to begin with.
I do agree. I think that's very synthetic, very generic. A lot of these new flankers are utilizing this, summer flankers and whatnot. And I think this would have been much better if they did it without it, or maybe if they added something else to the top note just to give it a little bit more of an edge. I think it would have been much better.
So yeah, I think we said almost everything there is. I really like it. I don't love it. I think I like L'Homme and La Nuit de L'Homme maybe a little bit better than this. I think this is maybe more versatile than both of those. So I like it for that reason. And I do like, as you said, that there is a connection between both of them. A lot of times flankers, they come out with something that has no connection whatsoever to the previous release, but this clearly has a family relationship to those fragrances, and I really respect that.
It's not like something that's totally new or mind-blowing, but yeah, if you like both, L'Homme and La Nuit, this one has a little bit of both in there, so you can really appreciate this flanker. I don't think it's like an amazing flanker, but it is pretty decent.
Overall, it's a safe, masculine, warm, spicy fragrance with too much grapefruit. But luckily that goes away. But it's pretty good. Now what about compliments, Max? Did you get many compliments with this?
I actually do. The first, hour and a half, 2 hours when I put it on, and if I'm going to work or whatever, I actually get pretty good noticing. People actually tell me that, you smell pretty good. What is that? Is that a new fragrance? So I actually got, a couple good compliments. It's not compliments galore by any stretch of the imagination, but it's actually pretty good. Not bad.
My wife liked this. She thought it was interesting. She gave me that look that, it kind of smells familiar.
Wow.
Which it does.
Okay.
I think, this is one scent, like you said, you didn't get a ton of compliments. I think this is one of those fragrances that is kind of going to be like that, where it's nice, it's pleasant, but it doesn't really shoot for the moon,
Right.
So it just goes for just being pleasant. So it's not going to get a ton of notices, but it's going to make you smell good. So bang for buck, this just came out, so right now it's $104 for 100 ml. Now I think that is, in the average range for pricing. It's still full retail, which I think is high for what you're getting here.
I think, 85 to 95 would be okay. Over $100 for this, I think it's pushing.
And especially when you compare this to L'Homme and La Nuit de L'Homme, which you can get for around $50 each. I really just wait till this goes on the gray market in about a year, and then it'll be more competitive. And I think it'll be definitely worth it at that point. So Max, final rating, what do you give this?
I give this a 3, 3 out of 5. I think it's a really solid flanker. It's not outstanding, but it's pretty decent. It has that universal appeal. You're going to smell good. You're going to garner a little bit of compliments. So it is very likable. So yeah, I'd give this a good 3.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a 3 as well for all the same reasons. I kind of wish that it did something maybe a little bit different that sets it apart from the others in its line, but I like the fact that it has a connection to L'Homme and La Nuit de L'Homme. I don't like the watery, citrusy quality that it has in there, just kind of for no reason. It plays it a little safe, and for a lot of fragrance heads like us, that might kind of be a bad thing. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. It's going to smell very pleasant, very safe. I think people are going to say you smell good as well. I think this has kind of a molecule, mall smell a little bit in there.
Yes.
But overall, it's pretty good. 3 out of 5 for me. So that's all we have. Have you tried L'Homme Ultime? Let us know down in the comments down below. If you like it, love it, hate it, let us know. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe and like down below. We'll love you for it. And I'll have a link down below to Max's channel where you can go and subscribe to him as well. Thank you again, Max. Really appreciate you coming on.
Anytime. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Dave.
We'll see you next time. We're the Fragrance Brothers. Bye.